Hey, I'm Edward Krause. My wife and I own Baba's on Cannon in Charleston, South Carolina, and we're here today to host Aperitivo Hour. The Aperitivo is an Italian tradition that is ubiquitous kind of nightlife in Italy. In some ways it's in place of a happy hour here in the States, and it is kind of a time in the evening before dinner but after work or on somebody's way home when you're not exactly having a meal. It's more of hors d'oeuvres almost. Most bars and cafes will put out little snacks that are not intended necessarily to be a meal. They're really just meant to just kind of get your palate ready for the night's meal. The word comes from the Italian verb to open. And so I think that's what's beautiful about the Italian way of life, is that there's form and function to everything. But that idea of like opening up, emotionally or mentally to the conversation that's unfolding or to the relationships, of the people kind of around the table, I just think is like a pure expression of like the way Italians are. And so I think for us, it is the music, it is making sure that the lighting is like warm and inviting and comfortable. I think all of those elements too kind of contribute to a vibe. For Aperitivo, at both Baba's locations, we focus on dishes that are salty and briny and high in acidity, that are tart, dishes that kind of wake up your palate. We typically focus on, vegetables, things that aren't totally filling necessarily, because again, it's not a meal, and kind of inspire them to drink more, obviously, have another cocktail, have another glass of wine, but also to look forward to their meal to come. So this is the Garibaldi cocktail. We do 1.5 ounces of doctored Campari. We do 3 ounces of OJ. This is all served in a Collins glass. We serve ours over crushed ice. But the bar that has kind of made this a famous modern cocktail, Dante's in New York, serves theirs just in a frozen cocktail glass. We do 25 shakes. And then single strained over crushed ice. Cool. And then we garnish ours with an orange wedge and a toothpick. When you're putting together kind of bites for an Aperitivo hour, I think you want to keep in mind the visual elements. I do believe, the cocktail, the Garibaldi is a really good example. It is absolutely delicious, but it's also beautiful in anybody's hand. The ricotta and Calabrian chilies, like that's, more juxtaposition and striking. I think it's more of a texture thing. But, even like the serviceware, like having cast aluminum champagne buckets for your chips or your bread, but even still making a point to like get something of quality, it doesn't have to be silver. I think those are all important elements. Farinata is this, kind of specialty in Liguria in the Italian Riviera, which is like the northwest coast of Italy. And it is beautiful in its simplicity. It is chickpea flour, olive oil, water, and salt. We fry up a little bit of rosemary in ours in the olive oil before we put it in the oven. It's everything you want for kind of Aperitivo hour. It's crispy, it's light, it's gluten-free. So I think that is helpful to keep in mind for folks, that you want something that is craveable and interesting and curious that everybody can enjoy. The Gigante beans, very simply put, marinated beans. We get these from Rancho Gordo in California. This is a nod to the cicchetti culture of Venice. All the elements are always kind of changing, whether it's the music or the vibes or the dishes or the drinks, but one thing that you can, be assured of in any like fun or festive Aperitivo is if you've got great folks there, if you've got, folks that are, funny and interesting and caring, then it's gonna be awesome. I'm Edward Krause. Thanks for hanging. Feel free to come join us for an Aperitivo soon.